How to Deal When the Shit Gets Real podcast. I'm Rietta, and today I'm joined by Maggie Soul. So Maggie, how do you deal when the shit gets real? Or just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, I love that title, first of all, because I'm all
Thank
about
you.
realness and authenticity and just connecting with people in that way. And I feel like if we talked more, if we weren't just isolated, we would feel like we're not alone and okay, you're going through this, me too. Let's help each other out. But yeah, my name is Maggie, and I'm a flow method and body decode practitioner. So it's a type of energy healing, life coaching that deals with the chakras and also quantum physics. Basically, if you're tuning into anything, any negativity, fear, stress, anything that you don't want to be living or experiencing in your life, I help you shift out of that into your dream life, into your dream self. And that also deals with illnesses as well. So, for example, if you have pain in your legs, you could be tuning into toxic family dynamics. Or if you have tummy issues, you might have issues with self-worth or self-esteem or self-love. If you, get headaches a lot, you might be out of touch with your intuition. So we also look at the body and see what it's telling us and go from there as well. I'm an empath, and I love especially helping people who, like me, dealt with narcissistic abuse. And help them get out of that and that shame and that, toxicity and all the effects of that and into the spotlight and into a thriving life that, where you're using your gifts and doing what you were always meant to do in this life. And I'm a performing artist as well. So I use that a lot in my work too. So yeah, that's me.
Well, that was amazing. I also love that, like, the past couple of guests I've been getting, it's been kind of narcissist related. So we're kind of like getting it all out on the table and all these different perspectives on like how to
Yeah.
get away from narcissism and how to like pick up on narcissism. So I love that we're doing this. Is a great way to start 2025. We're getting rid of
Nice.
narcissists.
Yes, exactly. Getting ourselves out of those situations. But that's cool. I love that. I love that theme. It's so needed for sure.
It is very clearly it is needed because it's coming
Yeah,
up right for a reason.
right,
We're seeing it on repeat for a reason.
right.
But I love that you mentioned that you're an empath. I am too. It took me
Yeah.
a long time to figure it out. So when did you realize that you were an empath?
Yeah, I think like that word now the younger generation is lucky because I feel like now empath is like, or even narcissist, like these words are more like you hear them around more. Whereas
Yes.
like when I was younger, I was just like, why do I feel life this way? Like, what is going on? What's wrong with me?
Mhm.
Like no one, I just felt like I experienced life. I knew this ever since I was like, as long as I can remember, that I just experienced life differently from everyone else. Like I felt things differently from everyone else. And then I remember seeing The Perks of Being a Wallflower when I was like a freshman in high school. And at the end of the movie, Charlie says like, how to the doctor, like, how do you stop seeing it? And she was like, seeing what, Charlie? And he was like, everyone's pain all the time. Like, I don't know how to see it. I don't know how to not see it. I don't know how to not notice it. And I was like, oh my gosh, like that is me. That's exactly how I feel. And then I think it was like a few years later when I found like my mentor, who I've worked with now for like 2 years, and she is an empath mentor, and she just really spoke to me and I connected with her. And that's kind of when I really started my empath journey and realizing, how to become an empowered empath, and heal and, all of that. But yeah, it was definitely a journey for sure.
It is a journey. And since you kind of touched on it, and I don't know if this is something you'll have for us, but hopefully you will. How have you been able to kind of separate yourself from other people's emotions?
Yeah, that's such a good question. So the mentor, her name is Tara Meyer Robson. She's amazing. Definitely check her out. But something that she really talks a lot about is like shielding yourself, like protecting yourself energetically. So, for example, like she has a lot of meditations that she recommends doing in the morning or whenever you feel like you need that extra protection, like before going to the store or the airport, those really highly sensitive areas. And really, it's just about like creating an energetic bubble around yourself so that nothing can penetrate your own energy field. So that has helped me a lot. And then just like being aware, like having that intentionality of, okay, let me stop for a second. I'm feeling something. I'm picking up on something. Is it me? Like, does this feel like it's coming from me or is it coming from them? and how can I breathe through it? How can I protect myself again? So yeah, so I think just a lot of like awareness and like energetic protection, like mechanisms for sure.
Yep. Yeah, that
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah.
And I'm sure that probably ended up eventually playing a role in dealing with narcissism, excuse me. So what has narcissism played in your life? Was it a part of your family? Was it friends? How did that play a role in your life?
Yeah, it was definitely family, like 2 family members, and I think it's, good for empaths to know, like, or if you're a highly sensitive person, um, there is oftentimes that narcissist empath dynamic because, they like what they see in us, and we're an easy target for them and easy to take advantage of and things like that. So you'll often see that dynamic play out, and that for sure happened with me and my family and my life. And it wasn't until like, about almost like a year and a half ago now when I was like, I saw it finally for what it was, and I was like, this is just not healthy. This is not serving me, and so like, I have to go. I gotta go. So I left that dynamic, and I've been all the better since. I'm so grateful. I'm so happy that I did that. But yeah, it was definitely like a family situation.
And
Yeah,
that makes it even harder too, because I myself have had to remove, we'll say nicely,
yeah,
family members from my life, which is not easy. And I'm
yeah,
sure it wasn't easy for you either.
yeah.
How did you handle pulling yourself away from that situation?
Yeah, it's not easy. Thank you for saying that. Like it's not easy, and I think, more and more we're seeing it more and more now. Like I even saw like a news article the other day that said like millennials or Gen Z are like starting to step away, yeah, like to remove themselves or to step away from certain dynamics that maybe in the past wasn't encouraged or done as much. So I think in the beginning I definitely felt that like taboo of it, and I didn't really want to tell anyone because I was like, oh, they're gonna think that I'm messed up or that I have issues or that, like whatever comes with telling people your baggage and your story. And so that was, I think it just took so long. Like the beginning was not butterflies and roses. Like it was amazing to finally remove myself from that situation, and it felt so much better like immediately. But it was definitely a process because at the beginning I was super depressed, and I was just like really going through it, really trying to figure out, you know, that was like 26, 27 years of my life. So I had to really kind of, and then I was on my own. So, it was definitely like at the beginning a dark period, and it took me a while to figure it out. But I think having good people who love you unconditionally, like finding your community and loving yourself more, like all of those things are a recipe for success in that way. But it definitely took me a long time, a while. So if anyone is listening, going through that, like, it's okay if it's a process, it's a journey. I think, if you need external help, like a therapist or, yeah, just like a loving community who appreciates you and values you and sees you for who you are and makes you feel like you matter, like all the things that you didn't feel in that dynamic, in that situation. I think finding the opposite of that is really healing, and it was for me. But yeah, yeah, yeah. It definitely wasn't easy, but I feel now better than ever, and I'm so glad that I decided to do that. And yeah,
It's amazing how we get so stuck in that, because even now, like, I will get messages from my friends, like friends that I've been friends for a while now, that'll be like, just popping in to say hi. Hope you remember you're amazing today. And I still have those moments where I'm like, where did I get these people?
yeah, yeah. Like the good people.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
because you do there's still those moments where you still remember all the crap. So
yeah.
like you still get surprised by the good that you're like, am I
I
awake? Is this
Right.
really happening?
Yeah, 100%. And also, like, do I deserve this? Am I worthy of this? Because when you grow up in a certain dynamic, it takes like a lot of unlearning and believing, like, oh, I can receive love. I deserve love. I deserve
Mhm.
people to say these nice things to me or treat me in a nice way. And I think that takes, like you said, like, it's kind of hard to believe at first. You're like, really? Like, you know? So it's like an unlearning process and understanding that you are worthy of love and you can receive it and that you are amazing and that people do value you and all these things. But yeah, it's definitely a process for sure. Thank you for saying that, because I feel that way too.
It's definitely a process.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I'm sure just like you, I still have my moments where I'm like, do you want something? Because you know how it is with narcissists. Usually they tell
Yeah.
you something nice because they want something. So it's
Yeah.
like,
I
do you want
know.
something?
And it's so hard because, like, you can remove yourself from the situation physically, but then it's like the unlearning of the mind, and the
Mhm.
filters and the perspectives, because like you're no longer in that situation, but your mind can be wired to see things a certain way. Like you said, like, do you want something? Do you really love me? Or are you mad at me? Do I have to walk on eggshells? Like, all these filters that you've like gained over all of the years of the abuse, or whatever you want to call it, and these dynamics, it takes so long to like see things with fresh eyes and a new, like, present, peaceful, loving like filter. And your mind wants to keep you in that loop and keep telling you the same things,
Mhm.
and it's so hard. And I think for me, what's been helpful is like having good friends and people where I can communicate and be like, this is what my mind is telling me is happening. Is this really what's happening? And then they're like, no, not at all. Like, I love you. None of that is playing out. And you're like, oh my gosh. Like, you just don't even realize that it's like then an undoing of the mind as well, and the thought patterns and the way you see things and the way you interact with people and react. And, so for me, at least, I try to really give myself grace and compassion for the never ending process of undoing all of that. But also try to get like in the driver's seat, on top of my mind, and be like, no, I want to see love. This is the perspective that I want to see. I'm only going to tell myself good things and good thoughts and affirm this reality that I want to experience, rather than having the automatic subconscious loop just constantly keep you in that narcissistic dynamic, when that's
Yeah.
not, what's going on anymore. So, yeah.
No, that was a great reminder because I'm sure a lot of us could benefit from actually asking somebody to be like, "Hey, this is what my mind is telling me you're saying. Is this what you're really saying?" Because like
Right.
we get stuck in that fear of being like, "Oh, if I ask them, it's just going to make it worse." Where it's like, "What? Why not just ask?" So I love that you do
Yeah.
that. I think that's great.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it takes, safe people and unconditionally loving people,
Hmm.
to make sure that it doesn't get triggered again, and it's not an unsafe situation like it was in the past. But if you feel that out and you're like, no, this is okay for me to do it, I definitely recommend it, because I think it helps a lot with the healing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a great tip and a really easy one. Sometimes things are harder for people to incorporate. That's a pretty easy one, especially with text messaging. Like you can just shoot at the text if you're uncomfortable saying it in person. But I love
Yeah.
that, especially because I literally just saw a TikTok the other day that was like a guy talking about text messages not to send to anxious people. And now I can laugh at it, but it was so accurate like
Really? Like, what
5
was it
years ago.
saying? Oh my
I'll
gosh.
I'll have to send it to you, but it was like talking about like just sending the letter K or putting like a
Oh yeah.
period at the end of things versus 3 periods. It was hilarious, but super accurate.
You're like, does this mean this? Like, it's like a whole the story's playing.
Yeah, he's like, "This
Oh
means you're
yeah.
mad. This means you're
Yeah.
still mad. This
Yeah.
still means you're really mad."
I
Oh,
really, yeah, I resonate with that too. That's so
yeah.
funny. Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
"Well, at least we could laugh at it
Yeah,
now."
right. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
But you mentioned at the beginning that you teach the flow method is one of the things that you teach about. So tell us more about the flow method.
Yeah, so the flow method and the body decode method were created by Tara Meyer Robson, who's the empath mentor that I spoke about. And she has a lot of resources, like free resources online and on her website for empaths. And she gets into like the science behind it and everything. So I really, really recommend checking it out for anyone who feels they need it. But yeah, so I found her like 2 years ago or so, and she has this program, and basically the whole method that she developed first works on like, how does reality work and how can we actually change our lives, like kind of like Joe Dispenza or Louise Hay, like what is the actual science behind the matrix or behind
Yeah.
reality. Yeah. And
Love
so
Daddy Joe.
yeah, I love him so much. Oh my goodness, he's like my favorite. But yeah, so no, so yeah, so the first part is like getting into that so you can really understand like why it works. So for me, that was super interesting and super helpful. And then the second half is like the energy centers. So each energy center or a chakra, or she calls them stations, tells us what type of negativity or fear that you're tuning into. So, like I said, like the from the hips down, if you have any issues there, like in the root chakra, that's usually the foundational level. So it can be groups from when you were younger, like church groups or friends or school, but also family dynamics. So if you have like illnesses or anything showing up in that area, okay, let's look at like what's the underlying limiting belief or negative core belief that's tuning you into what you don't want in that area. And usually it can come from, oh, I had a family trauma, or this is what happened. And so it kind of goes through that with each of the energy stations, each of the chakras. And then once we pinpoint like the top 3 of like what's going on, like do you have a can you not speak up for yourself because of the narcissistic abuse? Is your throat chakra really closed and you freak out and you have a panic attack when you speak your opinion or your voice, so all those types of things. And then we work with like how reality works, and also like the senses, to get it really into your body in a way that works for you, in a way that you really learn, so you can really get it into your subconscious. And we shift out of those beliefs, out of that reality, so that you can heal and shift into a new one. So that's kind of like how it works.
I love it. I love all this stuff, so I think it's fantastic.
Yeah,
And you touched on this a little bit, but I'd love for you to elaborate a little bit more. So why do you think the flow method is important?
I think it's so important because, first of all, like something I'm so in it now that I forget that a lot of people don't know these things. And so, like, the thing that I always say is that, like, you're not doomed. Like, you actually can heal. You actually can become a completely different person, do a 180 in your life, in your internal life, and it'll reflect your external life. So I think the first thing is that, like, the flow method, for me at least, always taught me that, like, and literally, like, the science behind it, like with Joe Dispenza and everything, is like, you really aren't doomed. You actually can change your life. And this is not woo woo. This is not me. This is not my opinion. Like, this is just like the truth and the science behind it. So I think that's the first reason, like, it's so important for people to know, like, if you feel like I'm so messed up, I have so much trauma, I don't know how to have relationships, I don't know how to speak up, like, when you just get in those moments where you're like, what's wrong with me? Like, I've just, like all that type of stuff, just knowing that, like, you're not doomed and you can heal and it will be okay. So that's the first thing the reason I think it's so, so important to give people hope, for themselves and for their lives, and to know that they're not alone and that everything's okay. And sometimes you just need that extra guidance or support or education on how to actually do it. And so yeah, I feel like that is the main reason I think it's so important. And I think, like, same with Joe Dispenza's work, like, people can be living with cancer and real pain, not only like if it manifests in disease or illnesses, but just suffering and emotional trauma and all these things. Like, so many people can just be walking around in it. And so I think it's so important that work like this is put out more, because, like, it just breaks my heart. I don't want people living in pain. I don't want people suffering. And if there's methods that can help people and can help alleviate that pain, then, I definitely want to be a part of that and bring that light and bring that love to the world. And so I think that's why it's just so needed and so important, especially now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for people that just maybe want to like dip their toe in the water, where
Yeah.
would you tell them to start? And then obviously if they do want to work with you, how can they do that also? Kind of a twofold thing.
Yeah, I would say so. Tara has her book called The Flow Method. So definitely look that up. And if you want to just read the book first for yourself, and kind of see what it's about. So yeah, so The Flow Method by Tara Meyer Robson, is like what we're educated on and what we're trained in and everything like that. And then if you want to work with me, like, I offer a few packages, and right now I'm doing like an 8-week program called the Sunshine Boot Camp that I'm really excited about. And it's really specifically for people who have dealt with narcissistic abuse and how to shift from the shame to the spotlight. So yeah, and you can find me on my website, Maggie-Sol.com, to work with me. And yeah.
I'm assuming you've read Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself.
Okay, so I actually haven't read it, and it's like I know it's so crazy. It's on my list, and I'm trying to find it at the library and like all these things, but I haven't read it. But it's definitely like I have that and A New Earth, and then A Course in Miracles that I'm like, okay, Maggie, we need to get into this. And
Yeah.
I knew of like Joe Dispenza's work for many years now, but only like recently did I really start to get into it and like started to do the meditations that are available like on Spotify and things like that. And already I had like a mind-blowing experience and just like a complete shift. And I was like, oh my gosh, like it's like my dream to go to one of his retreats in person, you know?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, but have you read it?
Yes. Mhm.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
I've
Yeah.
read it. It's on my shelf somewhere. But
Yeah.
yes, I actually just gave it to my dad too so that he could read it, but and my listeners have heard me talk about his books several times. I figured you had read it because you also mentioned at the beginning quantum physics, and
Yeah.
obviously
Yeah.
he talks a lot about how quantum physics relates to all
Yeah.
of the things.
Yeah. How
And the
has
nice thing
it
about
yeah.
him too is that it's very easy to read. You know, sometimes when you bring quantum physics into things, it can get very um difficult, kind of over
Yeah.
your head. And I like that he keeps it very simple.
He does. I like and I always watch like his little YouTube clips or things like that, and I just think like he has a way of talking that really resonates with people, especially cuz he just really talks about what we all want. Like you want to feel love, you want to feel good, you want to go beyond this. And so the way he talks you're just like, "Yes." Even if
Yeah.
like yeah, some of it goes over your head or whatever, you're just like on some level I know exactly what you're talking about and I really connect with this. Um but yeah, when did you read it? How long ago? Like, what was your first experience and how did it like change your life or shift you?
Oh gosh, it's been a while now since I've read it. I actually was just debating reading it again, especially since
Yeah,
I gave it to my dad, and then when I get it back, I probably want to read it again.
yeah,
Um, because I want to, you know how it goes, and I'm not making excuses, but like we kind of don't always follow the same.
yeah,
I haven't done his meditations in a while. Is the short way to say that.
yeah,
So I want to get
yeah,
back into doing them, but
yeah,
the thing that I liked about his book is because you hear all this stuff and a lot of people think it's woo woo, right? Like
mhm,
what you talked about. And people are hard, it's hard to get certain people. He gives you the science, which helps to make it more concrete, more tangible for certain audiences that like when it comes to like the woo woo, they're like,
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, exactly. And I totally agree with you. Like, I have no shame in saying that too. Like I've read A New Earth or dabbled in Joe Dispenza, but it always comes back like every couple months or once a year. You're like, okay, I need to read that again. Like I'm slipping
Yes.
a little bit. Like I need a reminder, I need a refresher. And yeah, I think that's amazing. But do you feel like in your everyday life, are there things from the book or just his teachings that come up and you're like, oh yeah, like almost reminders, like little sparks of reminders or ways that you see reality because you read that book?
Oh, there's always reminders, especially like I like Eckhart Tolle too. I know some people say
Yes.
Tolle. I don't know if it's Tolle or Tolle, so I
Yeah.
apologize, Eckhart, if we're saying your name wrong. Um, but I feel like I constantly, I'm sure you feel the same way too, get reminders from both of them because
Yeah.
I love the way he talks about meditation and
Yeah.
how you can just look at something and just by not defining it, that's meditation. Because I think
Mhm.
meditation is intimidating to a
Mhm.
lot of people. So, do you
Yeah.
have any meditation like tips or tricks for people that maybe feel intimidated? I always love asking this question to people that meditate.
I think it's so interesting because so okay, I was listening to Joe Dispenza the other day and he was saying that like even if you sit down to meditate and the whole time you're like, I just want to get up, I have an itch or like whatever it is, and you're just like really restless the whole time, but you still sit there for the full 5 minutes. Like he always says, there's never like a bad meditation. There's never like an unsuccessful meditation. And he's like, if you sat there for however amount of time, like it's the process, what is it? Like the overcoming is the process of becoming. So the whole point is that like you sat there and even though you wanted to get up, you didn't. And maybe it felt awful the whole time, but the point is to keep overriding the automatic and that brain that tells you, get up, I have an itch, I have to do all these a million things. And if you're like back in the driver's seat and say, no, like I'm the captain of my ship and I sit down and I'm going to stay seated for 5 minutes, like that then was a successful like meditation. And so that's the first thing to know, is that like there's no bad meditation, even if it felt awful the whole time. Like if you took the time to sit down, like that's the first step. And then something that actually helped me recently was like reading, because I think again with meditation, the whole point is to get out of the loop and to override the mind and to say like I'm in the driver's seat and I'm going to say, I'm not going to listen to that voice that's trying to take me in a million directions and tell me all my to-do list. Like I'm just going to sit down and do this thing. And so I feel like even if you don't like meditate or sit down and have that moment of Zen, something for me that's been like a form of meditation is like, okay, I'm going to pick up a book and read it. And that for me is something really hard. It's not always something that I want to do. But like for me, the reason it's a form of meditation is because it snaps me out of that automatic. And I'm like in that loop. Like on Saturday, I was just feeling so bad. Like I was just in a funk. And I was like, all right, I'm going to pick up this book and read at least 3 pages. And I really don't want to. But just the act of overriding my mind and doing something new and something that I didn't really want to do, and having that focus on something for like however long, immediately snapped me out of it. Like I already felt better because I broke it, because I got back in the driver's seat. So it doesn't have to be reading a book. It can be like whatever that thing is that might be new or different for you, like different behavior, a different type of action. If you do that thing, it can help snap you out of it. And for me, like that is a form of like, that is meditation as well.
Yeah. No, that is a great reminder. I love it. And I think Eckhart Tolle talked about this as well, that going for a walk is a form of meditation because you're focusing on one activity at a time. Going to the gym and just not looking at your phone, not doing it, just focusing on the gym, that's a form of meditation. So
Right.
you saying the reading, you're focusing on only the reading, that absolutely is a form of meditation and breaking your cycle. So I love that.
Right. Like anything that really gets you present. It could be, okay, I'm going to put this song on right now and just dance crazy and not think about anything, like those moments where you just have to be so present. Or I'm just going to do a British accent right now and just come up with I don't even know, like a little thing to say, like playfulness, or like tap into that inner child. I feel like all of those things, anything that can bring presence, like you said, is a form of meditation.
Yeah. And we need to play more. I had a guest the end of last year that reminded us that we need to play more. So that's another good reminder that we need to play more.
Yeah. Be silly. Be silly, goofy.
Yes, exactly. I don't know if you've listened to it, but Tony Roberts had Dispenza on. I think it was the end of last year. It's on his podcast, the Tony Robbins podcast. It's a fantastic episode. So anybody listen to me, I'm promoting another podcast, not one that even needs to be promoted because Tony Robbins is huge. But fantastic episode where he talks to Joe Dispenza. So for our people out there that are not readers, if you're interested in Joe Dispenza, he's been on Tony Robbins, and actually Eckhart Tolle has too. So
yeah, no, exactly. Like just we're in the business of helping people, so that's the point. It's just recommending these things. And I think on YouTube, Joe Dispenza has like so many podcasts, so many like little shorts or whatever. Again, so like you said, like if you're not a reader or whatever it is, like there's definitely like more resources out there for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff on TikTok too. You just got to change your algorithm.
Yeah. Exactly.
I swear to God, my TikTok one day will be like Joe Dispenza or Abraham Hicks or Channel K, people like that. And then the next day it's like Gypsy Rose. And I'm like, what happened?
Where did it? Yeah. Because do you do anything? Like, do you type anything, or it just does that on its own?
No, I usually don't type anything, but I bet you because like, you know how sometimes videos just catch your attention? There was probably that one time that I was like, what are they talking about? That I watched them, and freaking TikTok remembered.
Yeah, exactly. Or they heard you say something, who knows how it works.
Who knows? Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Mental diet, y'all. Mental diet. Make sure your mental diet is good.
Yes.
That's the big thing.
Yeah. For sure.
All right, so we know where to connect with you. Maggie, what final tidbits, advice, love, whatever you want to offer to my audience do you have for us?
Well, I think you like asked me the question, how do like how can people love themselves more? Like how can you take little steps towards self-love?
Yes.
And yeah, I think that's something I'm so passionate about. And I really, because I think these types of things can be thrown around like self-love and you have to love yourself. And you're just like, well, where the heck do I start? Like sometimes these things can feel so inaccessible, like the language, or just like, okay, I want to do that and feel that, but I have no idea what to do or where to begin. And so, yeah, I feel like I want to touch on like maybe some ways people can start loving themselves more.
Yes,
Um,
please.
yeah, I feel like the first step is removing anything that doesn't align with that. So, it could be leaving a toxic relationship or toxic family dynamics or a work environment. Like I think first look at your life and say like, okay, what is not serving me, what needs to go, like what is not what is actually contributing to my unhappiness. And so I think the first thing is just like getting that out of the way. And then I think getting back to what makes you feel good, what lights you up, things that you might be naturally good at, or things that you loved as a child that made you feel like, oh wow, like this is what I want to do. This lights me up, and it energizes me, and I feel so creative, or whatever it is. It could be like sports or the performing arts or science, like whatever that thing is that just your whole life has always lit you up. Like for me, it's singing and dancing and acting. Like when I do those things, and ever since I was a child, I felt this way. Like I just love myself so much because I'm naturally good at it. It makes me feel good. I feel creative. I feel in the flow. I feel connected to the universe and God and my higher self. So I think doing more things that you are naturally good at and that make you feel good. And if you don't know what those things are, then like I would recommend looking back to when you were a child or just going on like an explorative journey of what that is for you. And it could even just be a little thing, but like tapping back into that joy, into that flow. And then I think finding community, like finding good people, finding people who love you unconditionally, who make you feel like, you know, oh, they get me. And when I'm talking, they don't think I'm crazy. Or they, like just people who are really your people and really your community, and who make you feel like you matter and your voice matters and you can speak your full truth. And they're like, yeah, me too. I get it. So I think finding your community, finding your people of unconditional love and safety is so, so important. And then I think the last thing that I'll say is like just affirmations, like with Joe Dispenza or my work that I do, or Louise Hay, like just saying like I love myself and I see you, and look at yourself in the mirror and really feel those feelings, what that feels like, and just that repetition. And so I think affirmations and that repetition of just like I love myself and I love you. Um, so yeah, those would be my recommendations for getting into self love.
Those are all amazing recommendations. And I'm
Mm.
sure there probably are some people out there going, it's not easy to find community. It's not easy to find people. How can I find these people and like know that they're generally my people?
Right. Yeah. I think for me, like I said, like I first felt that way really when I found like the empath community and the spiritual community, because I was always that way, but I wasn't always surrounded with people who were that way or who were like, oh, that's woo woo, or that doesn't make sense. So I think, for me at least, or like whatever your niche is, whatever your thing is, like if you really like the performing arts, okay, I'm going to find a local theater, like a community theater. Or, I really like sports. Okay, let me go find like a local gym or, recreation center. So just, I think maybe go towards your interests or the things that you like. Or like Dungeons and Dragons. Like, I don't know, like there's so many different things that that you can be interested in, and maybe try to see if there's a community out there of people who are like-minded and aligned with that and practicing that you can integrate and immerse yourself in. For me at least, like that was the first step. Yeah.
And it totally makes sense to go back to childhood because what did we do in childhood? We just did the things that we love to do. So I
Yeah.
mean that's a great reminder and a starting point. And it's actually kind of funny because I used to go roller skating every Friday night when I was
Yeah.
a young teen.
Mm-hmm.
And I bought myself a new pair of roller skates because I was like, we're gonna roller skate again because why not?
Yay. I love that. That's
Also,
amazing.
were all these cool roller skates when I was a kid. There was like white and brown ones. Now they're like hot pink and yellow. Where was all that when I was a kid?
Right. Yeah. Well, I know. I feel like what are the things people do now? Like the roller skating derbies or like communities where there's like these badass
Yeah.
women and they're dressed and they're doing a whole thing. So I feel like maybe with that, like the cooler roller skates started to come out, so people could express themselves. But that's
It's not fair.
awesome. Yeah.
Not fair.
Good for you
It's all right. I got them
though.
now. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, and like that connects back to play too. Like when you were
Mhm.
little, like that was play and that was fun and getting back into that playfulness. Congratulations, that's awesome. I'm happy.
Thank
I'm
you.
excited for you. Yeah.
Yeah. What's something I know
Mhm.
you said you do performing arts, but what's something you do for play to get to connect with your inner child?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, so anytime I'll just have a dance party in my room. I highly recommend like anyone who loves dancing, like I just have this mirror in my room and I'll put my headphones in and just dance crazy. But then I just found like acting classes close to my house here, which I'm so excited about.
Yay.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, oh, and singing too, and then just being silly, like if I'm ever kind of whatever feeling so serious, I'm gonna speak in a southern accent and I'm just gonna say something ridiculous. Like even just that moment of saying like a sentence or two in a crazy accent or being just ridiculous, that I don't know, that automatically like puts me into play and just snaps me out of it. So yeah, that's what works for me, I think.
Did you play dress up when you were a kid?
I think I did, but not like that I can remember crazy. But yeah. Is that something
I
you
just
did?
wondered because like the accent thing kind of like made me think maybe you used to play dress up because it's kind of the same type of concept of like I'm gonna pretend to be somebody else for a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, like that's what works. But what else works for you, like other than the roller skating?
I write, so I like
Mm,
writing takes me. I can go anywhere. I can do anything. So
yeah. Like
create
fictional?
worlds. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. I love
So
that. Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
This is your reminder to go play, y'all. Go have fun.
Yay!
Thank you so much for being here, Maggie.
Thank you. This was awesome. Thank you for the questions and for the vibes. I really appreciate it. And I really like what we put out today. So thank you.
Yeah.
Mm.
And this is how to deal when the shit gets real, guys. I will see you all next episode.